and welcome. My name is Chanel Miller, and I am a career and life coach for women of color. And today I wanted to have a conversation with you guys about letting yourself evolve. This is something that has been very, very relevant in my life, and it's something that we all experience. And I really wanted to just talk about it and open up the conversation and the dialogue about the process of evolving and what that looks like. So, if you feel like you are in a season of evolution, change, everything like that, then this video is going to be for you. Okay, so I am a huge definition girl. Like, I'm gonna look up everything. I'm gonna figure out the definition of things and get to the root of what words mean. I think it's very, very important for us to do that. So, I looked up the word evolve and what that actually means based upon the dictionary. And so, the definition of evolve means to develop gradually, especially from a simple to a more complex form. Now, when I read that, I was like, that's it. That's exactly what it feels like when you're evolving. Like you're going from evolve means simple to a more complex form. And I think that that is very, very true as I have grown, as I've developed, and things like that in my life. As you've seen, it's been a couple of years since I posted here on YouTube. And so I feel like that is definitely very, very relevant for me as it comes to evolving as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a wife, as a woman of God, like all the different things that I am. And so I feel like over time, the time that I've been away from this platform, it feels like I've evolved so much as a business owner, as an individual. And it's like that season and that period of time needed to happen in order for me to become a more complex version of myself. And there are so many different things that I feel like I've learned along the way when it comes to the evolution of like life. And so I wanted to share with you guys like the top 3 things that you will experience when you are going through evolution and allowing yourself to actually let go and to grow. So the first thing that I wrote down was that evolution happens gradually. You can't rush it. Like you cannot rush evolution. It takes its time, it goes on its own. And so the best thing that you can actually do is to relax and allow things to happen the way that they're supposed to happen. The more you feel yourself rushing and pushing and forcing things, the more that you are going against evolution. The more you're going against that process of going from simple to a more complex version of yourself. So like I said, every single moment that is part of your evolution, everything that you're experiencing, it's all adding up. It's like, if I don't know if you've watched the movie The Butterfly Effect with like Ashton Kutcher from like years ago. I used to love that movie. It like was like, I think the first introduction for me into like mindset and like how everything happens for a reason and everything compounds, and how like if one tiny event did not occur, how like everything in your life would be totally different. So like if I never met my husband, for example, I would never have my son and I would never be like where I am right now. And so it's like different things like that of just how a single moment. And so being really appreciative and loving every single moment that you're in, the good and the bad, because everything happens, right? Like there is a coach, Brooke Castillo, she always says life is 50-50, and I totally agree with that there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days, but knowing that every single moment, the good and the bad, is actually what's leading and building you into that more complex version of who you are meant to be. There's nothing that will push you more than pulling yourself out of a dark place. Like there's nothing that will be more gratifying to know that you've been able to move from one place into another season of your life that is more fulfilling and more joyous and more whatever the things that you want to feel about your life. And so the second thing is evolving is not always going to feel good. It's actually most of the time not going to feel good. Like it does not feel good to realize, like I'll be honest about myself, like not being consistent. That's something that I have struggled with and I've been working through, and giving myself some grace and not beating myself up about it, because the more I was beating myself up about it, the more I was just not like recording and just showing up. You know what I mean? So like knowing that it's not always going to feel good, and sometimes you're going to feel disappointment, sometimes you're going to feel doubtful, sometimes you're going to feel fear, you're going to feel sadness, anger, like all those feelings. You have to allow yourself to process them and like go through them because it's all a part of the journey. And so like even showing up and recording this and uploading this video and growing my community on LinkedIn and with my clients and like all those different things, it's like time doesn't matter, like whatever, I'm here, like that's all that matters at the end of the day. And so when you really can sit in that, we can stop just being so stuck in our heads about that this should feel good, that this process of evolution, of growing and changing should feel good. Like I think about it when it comes to working out, right? Like when you work out, and if you haven't done it in a long time, that's me, that first couple of workouts or anything like that, like your body's going to be sore, your muscles are like expanding, they're growing, and that doesn't feel good. The aftermath does not feel good, but on the opposite end of that is going to be toneness, definition. You're going to be stronger, like whatever it is that you're looking for. You have to go through that process. And so that process of evolution and letting yourself evolve, it's not going to feel good. And so if you are going into it expecting that it's going to feel good, then you are setting yourself up for failure. So I want you to really think about that in a space of, okay, I'm ready to embrace all of it, all of it. You have to be open to the good and the bad. You can't just be like, I only want to feel all the good feelings and never the bad ones, because that's not real. That's not life. You have to feel all the emotions. Okay. So that's number 2. And number 3 is really, really appreciating the journey. So instead of being so fixated on the destination, like where you're going to go, where you're the dream house, the money in the bank account that you want, the relationship, the dream job that you want, like everything that you want, we can become so fixated and so focused on that we lose and we miss out on the journey, like this current moment right now. Like I'm currently recording this in my dining room. Like I know that one day I'm gonna look back at these videos and be like, I remember that. Like that version of Chanel, she was out here, she was doing those things. And so when you think about it, like I'm appreciating this journey of where I'm at, where I've been, and like where I'm going. And so when you are in that constant state of just appreciating it versus I hate where I'm at, I hate what's happening, why is this happening to me? Why is this like this? We can be in this like victim mentality where we get stuck in this constant loop. And I'm not saying that we can't feel those feelings. Like, yes, you need to feel those feelings and process them. It's that we are allowing ourselves to actually feel those emotions. So that way we then judge ourselves and we criticize ourselves for going through it versus just allowing it and appreciating that like this is part of my story. One day I'll look back at this and it's all going to make sense. And instead of like, it goes back to the beginning, like you can't rush it, you can't resist it, you can't push it, you have to like just accept it. And I don't know how else to describe it besides like allowing everything to just come, like the good, the bad, and like just being open to it and just being open to the lessons that it's actually teaching you. I believe that is the whole purpose of evolving, right? Becoming a more complex version of yourself. Like you can't become more complex if you're just stuck in this bubble and you're stuck doing the same things and you haven't changed. And I think that it doesn't have to necessarily mean like a superficial thing, like changing where you live. Like yes, it can be those things as well, but it's more of an internal thing. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying going from a more simple to a more complex version of yourself. I'm talking about more like internally, the parts that people don't see on the outside, the parts that actually is what's driving you, the parts that's actually controlling your actions, the part that's actually creating the results in your life that you're getting, like the part that is deep within you, like those pieces. Like when you become more complex in that space, when you allow yourself to, for example, I used to go through a period where I never used to really allow myself to like feel my emotions, feel anger. That's something that I just recently talked to my therapist about, because I'm like, okay, anger is one that like I really want to learn how to process. Like I've learned how to feel so many of my other emotions and be so open with them and express them. Like sadness, I can really express like sadness and like different things like that, and like happiness and joy and all the other good ones. But like anger is one that like society, especially as for Black women, like we can be deemed the angry Black woman. Like we feel like we can't really express when we are mad. Like Solange song, what is it, Mad? She's like, I got a lot to be mad about. Like that is so true and so real for so many women, especially for the clients that I work with as well. And so knowing that I want to work on processing that emotion, that's going to allow me to move through it, to handle it however I need to handle it. So then I can become a more complex version of myself who now knows how to handle anger, right? So like those are the different things. Like yes, it can be more of the outside things to make you feel more complex, but when we really look at it, you want to be focused on like what is going on inside here, what is going on in your thoughts. Like yeah, all the circumstances, we all have circumstances, we all have things that we're going through, but like how are you looking at them, how are you thinking about them, how are you reacting to situations? Are you still reacting to situations how you did from the past, or are you evolving, are you changing a little bit, right? And so that is exactly what I help my clients do. I help them process and work through the old ways of how they of being to that process of evolving and becoming the version of themselves that they know that they want to be. So if this sounds like you and you feel like, yes, Chanel, I am evolving right now and I want to walk alongside with you through this process of evolution, through the tough times, through everything that we go through when we are evolving, make sure that you click the link down below or reach out to me directly. I am mostly on LinkedIn. That is where you will find me. So send me a message. We can set up a time to chat, and we can have a conversation, and I can tell you a little bit about where you are, where you want to go, and then I help you solve that solution for you as well. So definitely make sure you reach out to me. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And until next time, I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.